The less you sleep, the longer you live? Doctors say not so fast. What every American senior should know after 60. Mr. Frank Thompson, 65, can't seem to sleep well, and he's not alone. Lately, 65-year-old Frank Thompson from Des Moines has been wrestling with something most older adults experience, but few talk openly about: his sleep, or more accurately, the lack of it. Every evening, without fail, he's in bed by 9 p.m., believing in the old wisdom: early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. But there's a catch. The moment he lies down, his mind doesn't quiet. His body feels restless, his sleep feels light and fleeting. Around 3 or 4 in the morning, well before sunrise, his eyes snap open, wide awake as if someone flipped a switch. By the time the sun peeks over the trees, he's been lying in bed for hours, staring at the ceiling. During the day, Frank feels as though his energy has been drained before it even began. His thoughts are foggy, and even simple tasks, like watering the plants or sorting the mail, feel like chores. He tells himself it's just part of getting older. But the truth is, he feels like he's running on empty. One brisk morning, as he strolled through the neighborhood park for his usual walk, he bumped into an old friend, Mr. Albert Miller. As they walked side by side, Frank couldn't help but share his frustrations. "I just don't get it, Al," he sighed. "I go to bed early, I eat right, I try not to nap during the day, and still, I sleep like a squirrel in winter. I'm exhausted all the time." To Frank's surprise, Albert chuckled. "You know, Frank," he said with a sly grin, "maybe it's not such a bad thing. My cousin lived to be 97, and he swore he only slept 5 hours a night. Even Winston Churchill only slept about 5 or 6. Maybe sleeping less means you'll live longer." Frank blinked. "Wait a minute, you're telling me less sleep is a good thing?" Albert nodded confidently. "Look at all the successful people. They barely sleep." And just like that, Frank found himself more confused than ever. Is sleeping less really a sign of good health, or a warning bell in disguise? Frank is not alone. Many older Americans quietly wrestle with this same question. They find themselves sleeping less than they used to, often waking up before the birds. Some begin to wonder, is this normal? Is it healthy? Or, like Albert joked, is it actually a sign of longevity? Doctors and sleep experts say it's time to clear the air. Let's get one thing straight. Sleeping less does not automatically mean living longer. In fact, the opposite might be true. Although it's true that some public figures like Churchill claim to sleep little, these are outliers, not role models for health. The medical data is clear. Consistent lack of sleep, especially after the age of 60, may be quietly harming your body. Just because sleep needs change with age doesn't mean it's safe to skimp on rest. Let's walk through this, carefully, one step at a time. 1. Not getting enough sleep can shorten your life. Researchers at the University of Sydney in Australia conducted a detailed study to examine the relationship between sleep and longevity. What they found was sobering. Adults over 60 who consistently had poor sleep, those who regularly got less than 6 hours a night, were at significantly higher risk of early death. On average, men lost 2.3 years from their expected lifespan, and women lost 1.8 years. And here's an even more alarming detail. Seniors who also suffered from snoring, sleep apnea, or other breathing issues during sleep were found to have lifespans up to 6 to 7 years shorter than their well-rested peers. So no, sleeping less is not a badge of honor. It's often the body's silent cry for help. 2. Chronic diseases are more likely to knock on your door. A massive 25-year study by University College London tracked over 7,000 adults over the age of 50. They found that those who slept fewer than 5 hours a night had a 20% higher risk of developing chronic diseases. Even more worrisome, their risk of having 2 or more chronic illnesses like diabetes and high blood pressure went up by 40%. Heart disease, stroke, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes have all been linked to insufficient sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs damage, regulates hormones, and balances blood sugar. If you're not sleeping enough, you're not giving your body the tools it needs to stay well. 3. Mental and emotional health takes a hit, too. The annual review of behavioral medicine published findings that made something very clear. People over 60 who sleep less than 6 hours a night are significantly more prone to anxiety, loneliness, and depression. They also tend to suffer from nagging physical symptoms, dizziness, upset stomach, lower back pain, general fatigue. All this adds up. It's why many older adults find themselves irritable, short-tempered, or constantly fatigued during the day. And that short fuse many people chalk up to aging? In some cases, it might just be the brain crying out for more restorative sleep. 4. Sleeping too little speeds up aging, inside and out. You might notice a few more wrinkles in the mirror, but what's happening inside your body when you're not sleeping enough can be even more concerning. A fascinating study originally conducted on postpartum women revealed that those who regularly got less than 7 hours of sleep per night had biological ages that were 3 to 7 years older than their peers who slept well. That means their internal organs, their heart, kidneys, immune systems, were essentially aging faster than their driver's licenses showed. Lack of sleep doesn't just make you look tired. It speeds up cellular aging, weakens your immune system, and reduces your body's ability to repair itself. In other words, when you sleep less, you wear out faster. 5. Your brain's worst enemy: sleep deprivation and dementia. And here's the part that truly deserves our full attention. Lack of sleep may drastically increase your risk of cognitive decline, even dementia. A 25-year-long study by the University of Paris followed over 8,000 middle-aged and older adults. They discovered that people in their 50s and 60s who slept fewer than 6 hours a night had a 30% higher chance of developing dementia later in life. Even more startling, those who regularly slept 5 hours or less had double the risk of Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia compared to those who slept a healthy amount. The takeaway? That just a little less sleep adds up. Sleep isn't just rest, it's maintenance. While we sleep, the brain cleans itself, removing toxins linked to memory loss and confusion. Skip that process night after night, and the consequences can be long-term and devastating. So, let's be clear. Sleeping less is not a health strategy. It's a slow drain on your vitality. In short, sleeping less as we age is not something to dismiss or wear like a badge of honor. It's not harmless. It's not healthy. And it certainly doesn't mean you're more likely to live longer. The truth is, our sleep patterns do shift naturally as we get older. Many people in their 60s and 70s find themselves waking earlier, sleeping more lightly, or needing less sleep than they did at 30 or 40. But needing less sleep is not the same as getting insufficient sleep. And now we come to the important part: how to sleep well after 60, especially as the body changes and our routines evolve.